You are not who you think you are. And if that sentence made you slightly uncomfortable, good, because something inside you just reacted. Not your logic, not your intelligence, something deeper. And that reaction is where this starts. The first time you changed yourself, you didn't even notice it. It wasn't some big moment. It was small. You stayed quiet when you wanted to speak. You agreed when you didn't actually agree. You smiled just to avoid tension. And it worked. People liked you more. Things felt easier. You avoided conflict. So you did it again, and again, and again. Until one day, it stopped being something you do and became who you are. That's the moment the lie begins. Because what you call your personality is often just a collection of strategies. Not truth, not identity, just survival. Think about it. The confident version of you, is it real or is it built on a fear of being ignored? The nice version of you, is it kindness or fear of rejection? The independent version, is it strength or just avoidance of getting hurt? Most people never ask these questions because the answers are dangerous. They don't just challenge your behavior, they challenge your entire sense of self. And once that cracks, everything starts to feel unstable. But here's the part that should bother you the most. You didn't choose most of this. You absorbed it. From parents, from school, from people who were just as confused as you. You learned what was acceptable, what was rewarded, what was normal. And slowly, you built yourself around it. Not based on truth, but based on approval. And approval is a terrible foundation for identity because it changes constantly, which means you have to keep adjusting, keep performing, keep maintaining a version of yourself that was never real to begin with. That's exhausting. But the real damage isn't the exhaustion, it's the disconnection. You start losing track of what you actually think, what you actually feel, what you actually want. And the scariest part, you don't even notice when it happens. It shows up in small moments. You say something and immediately feel off. You agree with someone and regret it seconds later. You laugh, but it feels empty. Those moments seem harmless, but they're not. They're signals. Signals that something isn't aligned. And if you ignore them long enough, they turn into something heavier. Confusion. You wake up one day and feel lost. Not dramatically, just quietly. Nothing feels fully right. You might have everything you thought you wanted, but it doesn't feel like it's yours. That's not a lack of purpose, that's misalignment. You built a life around a version of yourself that isn't real. So of course it feels wrong. But instead of questioning it, most people double down. They distract themselves, they scroll, they stay busy. Because stopping means seeing, and seeing means confronting the truth. That maybe you've been living as someone else this entire time. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. At some point, the mask slips. It always does. Maybe during a failure, maybe during a breakup, maybe in a random quiet moment where everything suddenly feels meaningless. And for a second, you see it. You see the gap between who you are and who you've been pretending to be. And it hits you hard because the identity you've been defending your whole life suddenly feels fragile, questionable, even fake. Most people run from that moment immediately. They go back to distractions, back to habits, back to the familiar version of themselves, because facing it means uncertainty, and the mind hates uncertainty. It would rather live in a comfortable lie than face an uncomfortable truth. But if you don't run, if you stay in that moment just a little longer, something shifts. You start noticing things you never saw before. How often your reactions are automatic. How often your words aren't fully yours. How often your decisions are driven by fear, not truth. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. That's the beginning of the awakening. Not some dramatic transformation, not some sudden clarity, just awareness. Quiet, uncomfortable awareness. You start questioning everything. Do I actually like this, or did I learn to like it? Is this really my opinion, or something I absorbed? Am I being real right now, or just being acceptable? And the more you ask, the more the illusion breaks. But here's the part no one warns you about. When the false layers start falling away, you don't immediately find your true self. You find nothing. Silence. Confusion. A strange emptiness. And that scares people, because they think something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. That emptiness is space. Space that's been buried under years of conditioning. Space where something real can finally exist. But to reach it, you have to let go of what feels familiar. And that's the hardest part. Because even a false identity feels safe if you've lived in it long enough. You might start realizing things you don't want to see. That some of your goals were never yours. That some relationships are built on a version of you that isn't real. That you've been chasing approval and calling it success. That realization doesn't feel empowering. It feels painful, disorienting, almost like losing yourself. But you're not losing yourself. You're losing what was never you to begin with. And that's a necessary loss, because truth doesn't feel comfortable at first. It feels sharp. It forces you to see clearly. And clarity changes everything. Because once you see clearly, you have a choice. You can keep living the same way, keep performing, keep maintaining a version of yourself that feels predictable. Or you can start letting it go, piece by piece, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's uncertain. Most people don't choose that path, not because they're weak, but because the lie is easier. It's stable. It keeps everything intact. No conflict, no risk, no disruption, but also no growth. Because a false identity can't evolve. It can only maintain itself. And over time, maintenance becomes a prison. You feel stuck, not because life is limiting you, but because your identity is. So here's the truth no one wants to hear. You don't find who you are. You uncover it by removing everything that isn't. Every forced reaction, every borrowed belief, every behavior rooted in fear. And what remains won't be loud. It won't be impressive. It won't need validation. It will just feel real. And real is different. Real doesn't perform. Real doesn't chase approval. Real doesn't constantly adjust to fit in. It simply exists. And that kind of existence is rare, because it requires something most people avoid: honesty. Not with the world, with yourself. Brutal honesty, the kind that forces you to admit, this isn't me. This never was me. And once you reach that point, there's no going back. You can pretend, you can ignore it, but you'll always feel it. That quiet tension, that subtle misalignment, it won't disappear. So the real question isn't, is your identity built on a lie? The real question is, now that you can see it, what are you going to do? Will you keep protecting the version of yourself that feels safe but isn't real? Or will you start letting it fall apart, even if it's uncomfortable? Because the most dangerous lie isn't the one you're told, it's the one you keep defending. And the moment you stop defending it, even slightly, That's the moment something real finally has a chance to exist. Not the version of you shaped by fear, not the version built for approval, but something quieter, something honest, something that doesn't need to pretend. And maybe for the first time, that's when you actually start living.